Hey everyone, welcome back to Smoking Ape, your go-to for honest, in-depth game reviews. Today we're stepping into the fog once again, but this time, the nightmare doesn't begin in the familiar American town of Silent Hill. It begins in 1960 seconds Japan, a place where beauty and horror are two sides of the same coin. This is Silent Hill, the newest and most mysterious entry in Konami's legendary horror series. After years of silence, the franchise is finally back, and it's doing something bold, mixing psychological horror with Japanese folklore, body horror, and emotional storytelling in a way we haven't seen before. I've spent hours exploring every dark corner of this game, soaking in its atmosphere and uncovering its secrets, and in this video, we're going to talk about everything: the story, the characters, the gameplay, and the haunting world of Silent Hill F. So grab your flashlight, make sure your radio's working, and whatever you do, don't look too closely at what's growing behind the walls. Story and setting. Silent Hill F begins in Ebisugaoka, a quiet, rural Japanese town, seemingly untouched by time. At first glance, it's a peaceful place, a small school, traditional houses, cherry blossoms swaying in the wind. But beneath that calm exterior, something is terribly wrong. The protagonist, Hinako Shimizu, is a teenage girl carrying heavy emotional scars. She's bullied at school, neglected at home, and quietly suffering from feelings of isolation and worthlessness. You sense from the very beginning that Silent Hill F isn't just about monsters or ghosts. It's about the suffocating weight of guilt, shame, and repressed trauma. Everything begins to change when a mysterious fungal infection starts spreading through the town. It's not just killing people, it's transforming them. Walls, trees, and even human bodies begin to bloom with red, flower-like growths. The infection isn't just physical, it's psychological, reflecting the corruption and pain inside those it touches. As the story unfolds, the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Hinako experiences visions of another version of Ebisugaoka, a decaying, overgrown mirror world where her memories twist into grotesque forms. You meet Amamiya, a seemingly kind student with secrets of his own, and Kaito, a teacher trying to understand the infection's link to the town's dark history. Through notes, flashbacks, and hallucinations, you uncover Ebisugaoka's past, a history of cruelty, cover-ups, and experiments tied to the origins of Silent Hill itself. Each revelation pushes Hinako deeper into despair until she must confront the one truth that ties it all together. The horror consuming the town is also consuming her. What makes Silent Hill F's story so powerful isn't just what happens, but how it's told. It's tragic, uncomfortable, and deeply human. It's about trauma passed from one generation to the next, and the way pain can take root like a disease's, characters, and performances. At the heart of Silent Hill F are its characters, deeply flawed, painfully real, and all connected by secrets they can't escape. Hinako is one of the strongest protagonists the series has seen in years. She's not a hero, she's just trying to survive, to make sense of what's happening around her. Her transformation over the course of the game is both heartbreaking and terrifying. Then there's Amamiya, whose kindness masks something darker. His arc explores the lengths people go to protect what they love, even if it means embracing horror. Kaito, the teacher, represents logic and denial, a man trying to rationalize the irrational. Supporting roles, like Hinako's mother and the townsfolk, serve as mirrors of the town's rot. They embody repression, fear of change, and the cultural weight of silence. The voice acting is phenomenal, especially in the Japanese version. Hinako's performance captures the trembling uncertainty of someone trapped between fear and grief. The localization is strong too, with English subtitles that preserve the poetic unease of the dialogue. Facial animations and motion capture give every scene emotional gravity. Sometimes a simple glance or half-whisper says more than a whole monologue. The characters in Silent Hill F aren't archetypes, they're people, and that's what makes their suffering hit so hard. You don't want them to die, you want them to heal, even though you know that's impossible in Silent Hill. World design and exploration. Exploring Ebisugaoka is an experience in itself. The town feels alive, or rather, half alive. You can hear wind chimes faintly ringing somewhere in the fog, see old photos fluttering through alleys, and sense that something is always watching. The game constantly shifts between two realities, the normal world and the fungal other world, where crimson petals bloom like open wounds. The transitions of breathtaking walls peel away, roots crawl across the floor, and rooms dissolve into pulsating flesh. Exploration rewards curiosity. You'll find old letters, forgotten journals, and ritual scrolls that expand the lore. The environmental storytelling is fantastic. A single room can tell you everything about the person who once lived there. Puzzles are back in classic Silent Hill style, logical but eerie, often symbolic. One moment you're solving a shrine riddle based on Japanese mythology, the next you're aligning memories in the right order to unlock a door. I love that Silent Hill F doesn't hold your hand. You're encouraged to explore, to notice, to interpret. Every clue feels like a reward, and every new area brings a mix of fascination and dread, gameplay and combat. Gameplay in Silent Hill F walks a fine line between survival horror and psychological thriller. You'll spend most of your time exploring, solving puzzles, and managing limited resources. Combat exists, but it's deliberately awkward. You can fight back using improvised tools, gardening shears, ritual knives, even fire-based talismans, but every encounter feels risky. Movement is heavy, swings are slow, and enemies move unpredictably. You're not meant to feel powerful, you're meant to feel desperate. Even when you win, it's ugly and exhausting. There's a sanity mechanic that affects both gameplay and visuals. If you panic or stay in the other world too long, the screen distorts, controls become unresponsive, and you start seeing things that aren't there. It's a brilliant touch that reinforces the horror psychologically rather than just through jump scares. Boss fights are terrifying, grotesque, and meaningful. Each one represents part of Hinako's trauma, a physical manifestation of fear or guilt. Combat isn't perfect. Sometimes it feels clunky, sometimes frustrating. But honestly, I think that's intentional. You're not supposed to be a fighter, you're supposed to survive. And that constant tension makes every victory feel earned. Controls, UI, and performance. Controls in Silent Hill F are tight enough for exploration, but heavy enough to create tension. Turning corners feels deliberate, and interacting with objects has weight. Inventory and crafting systems are simple, limited space, means you need to think before hoarding every healing item. The UI is clean, minimalistic, and blends naturally with the game's aesthetic. Performance is stable on PS5 and Xbox Series X, with a few frame dips during heavy particle effects. The PC version can stutter during cutscenes, but is otherwise solid. Load times are quick, and auto-saving is frequent enough to avoid frustration. I didn't run into anything major, just the usual early release hiccups. Controls take a little getting used to, but once you do, they feel deliberate and cinematic. Visuals, audio, and atmosphere. Visually, Silent Hill F is a masterpiece of art direction. The 1,960 seconds Japanese aesthetic is hauntingly beautiful, bright cherry blossoms next to decaying buildings, traditional architecture smothered in living fungus. Lighting and fog are used with surgical precision. Sometimes you'll barely see 2 steps ahead. Other times, a single lantern's glow is all that separates you from total darkness. The sound design is just as crucial. The distant crackle of static, a faint whisper behind you, the creak of a floorboard, it's subtle horror done right. The music by Akira Yamaoka and Neoborn deserves special mention. It's melancholic, distorted, and emotional. Each track feels like a memory unraveling sad, one moment, terrifying the next. I don't say this lightly. Silent Hill F is one of the best sounding games I've ever played. Every note, every echo feels alive. It's not just horror you hear, it's grief, guilt and decay made audible, weaknesses and room for improvement. No game is perfect, and Silent Hill F has its flaws. Combat can feel inconsistent. Some fights drag on, others end too abruptly. Pacing dips around the middle, with repetitive fetch tasks that slow momentum. Performance issues on PC can break immersion. Character depth beyond Hinako could have been explored more deeply. And while the ending is powerful, it leaves some questions frustratingly open. I love that the game respects your intelligence, but I wish the pacing were tighter. Some sections feel like they exist just to pad the runtime, but when Silent Hill F hits its stride, it's unforgettable. Final verdict. Silent Hill F is not just a comeback, it's a reinvention. It honors what made the series iconic while daring to evolve. It's disturbing, poetic, and emotionally devastating in the best way. The story is powerful, the world is immersive, and the atmosphere is unmatched. It's not an easy game to play, but it's one that stays with you long after you've finished it. If you're looking for jump scares, look elsewhere. If you want psychological horror that makes you feel something fear, sadness, maybe even empathy, then this is your game. Your lane. Silent Hill F isn't just horror. It's a reflection, a haunting mirror of our own pain. And that's what makes it special. Thanks for joining me in this journey through Silent Hill F. If you enjoyed the review, leave a like, drop a comment, and tell me what you thought of the game or what Silent Hill moment scarred you the most. I've got more deep dive reviews coming soon, so make sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we bring with us.